Breaking news, breaking news, breaking news, everyone. JLR investigates with the breaking news out of California. Come on in, folks. Come on in. Whoa, what a night last night. What a night last night. While half the nation was watching the Mike Tyson Jake Paul fight, including myself, a terrible tragedy occurred in Lancaster, California. A little bit after this fight, it's quite possible that the situation that was going on at this house that we're going to talk about was a party where individuals inside were watching the Tyson Jake Paul fight. There has been a terrible, terrible tragedy in California, a crime scene right now at the 44,500 block of North Tabler Avenue in Lancaster, California. 4 people shot inside a home. 3 people of those 4 were murdered. And after the shooting occurred, somebody or someone, group of people, set the house on fire. So we're talking about a murder and arson investigation that occurred little after around 1:30 in the morning. They say the 911 call came at 1:27 a.m. We have lack of information, so we're just going to keep public awareness about this and try to figure out what's going on. I have crime scene videos. The fire chief was there. Terrible tragedy. I also reached out and spoken to the next door neighbor via text. All the next door neighbor told me was it was a Hispanic family, which makes it even more interesting. Are we talking about some sort of gang activity here? Are we talking about a group party of individuals and that watched the Tyson Jake Paul fight? Because it was a party going on. I don't know who else would be partying on a Friday night that wouldn't watch the fight. I watched the fight. I was up all night and it messed my clock up. This is my first video of the day. Yeah, I had slept all morning. I was up all night. Personally, I'm not going to be mad about the fight, right? Let me just go. I'm getting sidetracked here a minute. A lot of people are on the line saying it was rigged, it was scam, it's fraud, and all this, that, and the other. To me, it was entertainment. It was entertainment. You watched, I watched, we all watched. It was entertainment. It was interesting to see a young guy fight an older man. I like Mike Tyson. I personally think there might have been some rigged into it or some financial incentives to drag the fight out 8 rounds so people can get, oh yeah, I suffer from buffering too. Pixelating and buffering and all that stuff on Netflix. Very disappointed in Netflix. Hopefully they don't host a mega fight again, but I'm not so sure I will watch Jake Paul again because it was kind of, I didn't want to I wasted my time, but I'm not going to waste my time again, though it was entertaining. How about that? How about that? But man, me and Magnolia were seeing a lot of people mad out there. A lot of people mad, throwing things at their TV, slamming their TVs. A lot of people betting on Tyson. It was definitely poor quality. Now, I'm not saying this incident is related whatsoever about the Tyson Jake Paul fight. But what I'm saying is it's quite possible, because the neighbor told me people were there, don't know the name of the family, and we're trying to get the understanding of who these victims are. But it's quite possible people were at this house and they watched the Tyson Jake Paul fight. Now, this happened at 1:30. By then, the fight's long. It's over. But hours later, you know, the aftermath of the party. You know, and maybe the party turned into another type of party and more people arrived or partying to music or mad that people lost money or some gang activity. We don't know the motive yet because the authorities haven't really spoke. But I do want to share some information. I do want to share some information about this because this is probably a crime. And then my mind is also thinking too, do we have a Brian Kohlberger, Moscow, Idaho type situation in here where someone went into the house and brutally tried to murder 4 people. Apparently somebody was hiding. And then they also say that a person got taken into custody, but that person was later released. The 44,500 block of North Tabler Avenue, Lancaster. 3 are dead. 3 people are dead. No one has been arrested that I know of now. Somebody was taken into custody, and Crime Stoppers is looking to find out who did this or anyone has any information. Now, I'm sure they know because, the neighborhood's in a cul-de-sac. I was looking on the Google Maps. It's in a cul-de-sac. I'm going to play this clip. We'll further discuss. This is coming from a few media outlets that were out there at the scene when this terrible tragedy happened. House got set on fire after 4 people got shot. That's vicious animals that do these type of things. Vicious animals that would not only kill somebody in a house, but then set the fire, sending a message, covering evidence, or both. Scary times, folks. Alcohol, drugs. Police and fire at the scene. Who did this? MS-13, Trenton de Aragua, Bloods, Crips, Latin Kings. Who did this? Gangs? No gangs? Regular people? Look, he's pumping CPR. Look. He was doing CPR. Who did this crime?
Tyson, Randy Perry.
And Chief Perry, can you please tell us what happened here tonight?
So we don't know. Still under investigation by the sheriffs. We arrived on scene with smoke and fire showing. We found 4 victims inside. The sheriff pulled out 2. We pulled out the other 2. 3 of them have been pronounced on scene, and 1 is en route to the hospital, and they have 1 in custody. And that's all I can give you. Still active investigation by the LA County Sheriff's Department with arson. And fire's been knocked down. Fire's knocked down within 10 minutes.
So he said 1 was in custody, but the reports are saying that person in custody has been released. That was the scene. What's going on here? Somebody lose a bet? Somebody tempers flared because someone lost the bet between Paul and Tyson? Or is it not related to Tyson and Paul whatsoever? But I'm thinking that a party, alcohol, arguments afterward, arguments over a girl, a debt. Alcohol brings out the machoism between people. Who would murder? Who would shoot 4 people inside a house? Ben says stop speculating. Well, maybe if authorities would put out the information, we could get that information out. But they've been quiet. Not one police press conference. Nothing. You would think they would be out there right now giving a press conference, at least sharing something. But they haven't. Why? Happened in the middle of the night. A party. A party? A party. So we have a journalist that was there at the ground. He gives some information. It's a crime scene, putting together different clips. I was looking for a live feed. There's no live feed there, but there was a journalist or a guy that went to the scene. So let's listen to what he has to say here.
So we're out here in the 44,500 block of Gabler Avenue in Lancaster, California, where at approximately 1:20 this morning, a call came in for shots fired. 3 people are deceased on scene. 1 person was transported to a local hospital where they are in critical condition. The house was also lit on fire, and 1 person, a minor, was transported to the local sheriff's department for questioning, not as a suspect at this time. There is no known suspect at this time, but this is, at this time, a triple homicide investigation. 4 people shot, 3 deceased at the scene. They were in the home. They had to be brought out of the home and laid in the front yard due to the fact that the house was also lit on fire. And this is on Tabler Avenue, the 44,500 block of Tabler Avenue, just off Tabler and Oldfield in the city of Lancaster, California. We will have more videos here shortly. And sad situation. But the individual that is at the sheriff's station is the one that actually called this in as shots fired and then the house being set on fire. That is a minor child. We do know there's, it sounds like, I think it was 2 females, 2 males. We will bring you more information soon. A video is being edited. We do have the homicide lieutenant giving us information that will be in the upcoming video. Will be on soon. Everybody have a blessed day. Be safe. It sounds like it's possibly maybe a Hispanic family is what was stated.
That's what was told to me too.
The coroner's office just showed up, the medical examiner. Homicide's on scene. OSS was on scene. CSI's on scene. And everybody, God bless you all. Have a blessed day, and we'll talk to you all very soon. God bless.
So the neighbor has also told me. Now we have names, but we're not going to share these names. But the neighbor has told me that it's a Hispanic family involved, or Hispanic. Neighbor spoken. Neighbor's shaken up, trying to get a name. We have kind of a clue, but we don't have any. So we're not going to throw names out there yet until we find out more. I was just going over the profiles, the social media profiles, looking around, trying to see if anyone said rest in peace or shocking. A lot of times when these things happen, you don't know, or police don't identify the people involved. You got to do your own sleuthing, and you look around on the internet, and you look around the Facebook, and you see the friends and families of these individuals. You look at their profile, and eventually somebody that knows them will start making posts, but I haven't seen anything yet. Not yet. But I want to know what this was about. I want to know why this party was here, what type of people would do this vicious type of crime.
You're watching Today in LA Weekend. We began with breaking news in Lancaster. The LA County Sheriff's Department investigating a deadly shooting at a house fire overnight. You can see medics treating several people. This is on Tabler Avenue. The incident happened just before 1:30 in the morning. Sheriff's deputies say they found 3 people dead inside a home. Firefighters say a 4th person was taken to the hospital. We're told the fire was knocked down in 10 minutes. We are making calls for more information about how this happened. Stay with us on air and online for any updates on this death investigation in Lancaster.
Sometimes, law enforcement is quiet for a reason. Happened here, just so you guys know, it's right north of Los Angeles, California. For all the people that are watching JLR Investigates from around the world, we welcome you to JLR Investigates. We have a lot of viewers nationwide and worldwide, so we're just going to show the map here. This is the area. This is the incident that had happened just north of Los Angeles, Lancaster, California. Let's zoom in. Here we got the Los Angeles, right? And now we have Lancaster. So let's zoom in. We're at the 44,500 block of Tabler Avenue. It's actually 44509. 44509. 7-Eleven nearby. I'm assuming that there's surveillance all around here for sure, right? Surveillance. There got to be surveillance in these neighborhoods for sure. But it's at the back of a cul-de-sac. Back of a cul-de-sac. Right, or the cul-de-sac right here. So here it is. This is where this occurred. Let's just look here. I'll put on the map of the house. Here we go. So This is the area. This is according to Google Maps. So here you go, 44509. Happened here. Zoom down. There's only one way out. One way out. It's a circle, cul-de-sac, one way out. So, looking around, I'm assuming that some of these people here have some surveillance, right? Surveillance. I thought I saw a surveillance camera right here. Also, next door neighbor. Who lived here? What is this about? Got some fencing here. Why? And it's so close to the next door neighbors here. But what I've heard and what I'm told is they had a party here. A party here with a bunch of people. Only one way out. I'm sure authorities will get that. Let me just scour down here, because usually what the authorities will do if the person escaped is start going door to door asking for all the neighbors' surveillance. Door to door. And I'm sure neighbors have their Ring cameras. I'm just looking on Google Maps to see if anyone here has any here, but it's safe to assume that somebody has some sort of camera. If there's only one way into the neighborhood, which the house is right here, somebody has camera footage of the escaped people, whether it's on foot or vehicle. And then you come out here and you can make a right or a left. But neighborhoods, neighborhoods, everybody has surveillance. Every other neighbor nowadays, you can't really do a crime in a residential neighborhood without being seen nowadays. Do you agree or disagree? Do we agree or do we disagree? But that's, 4 people shot. 4 people shot, and one went to the hospital. I believe the one person's going to live, but 3 people killed. After the shooting, house gets set on fire. Where's the press conference? Where's the police press conference? Where's police? I mean, the only thing police put out here was an investigation. Ongoing LASD investigation. That's the only thing they put out. Just a tweet. Hey, we're investigating. Okay? Is a cartel involved? Are we talking about some bad actors? Actresses, multiple people? Hi, Callie. Thank you very much. Give OJ and Rio some love.
A chaotic scene in Lancaster ends up with 3 people shot and killed and a house set on fire.
Authorities have one suspect in custody as a 4th victim fights for their life in the hospital.
Suspect's not in custody.
KTLA's Omar Lewis is live for us at the scene with the latest details on this ongoing investigation. Omar, good morning.
Yeah, good morning, Megan and Lauren. According to officials here, a horrifying series of events happening here in this residential neighborhood. A shooting, as you mentioned, as well as a house fire. These details are quickly evolving, but as you can see, investigators are in the middle of this neighborhood here, gathering more information. According to LA County fire officials, we understand a suspect who is now in police custody shot and killed 3 people. As you mentioned, another person now injured in the hospital, and then a home was set on fire. Here's everything we know so far. First responders arrived to a deadly and chaotic scene unfolding around 1:30 this morning near Tabler Avenue and Oldfield Street here in Lancaster. According to initial reports, we understand there was some sort of gathering or house party at a home here before the violence erupted. According to the Los Angeles County Fire Department, crews found smoke and flames coming from a home here when they arrived. Inside, they discovered 4 victims. Sadly, 3 people were pronounced dead at this scene. 1 was transported to the hospital, though their current condition is unknown. Officials are investigating why that suspect shot these 4 victims inside the home and then deliberately set this house on fire. While the fire was intense, firefighters were able to quickly contain the flames. Arson investigators are now combing through the scene to gather evidence. Again, according to firefighters, 1 person has been taken into custody.
Found 4 victims inside. The sheriff pulled out 2. We pulled out the other 2. 3 have been pronounced on scene, and 1 is to ground to the hospital, and they have 1 in custody. And that's all I can give you. Still active investigation by the LA County Sheriff's Department.
Back out here live this morning, the identities of the people involved have not yet been released at this point. We are hoping to gather more details from an LA County Sheriff's Lieutenant here in just a few minutes here. Of course, we'll bring that to you once it
See the
happens.
truck?
But that is the latest this morning here live in Lancaster. I'm Omar Lewis. Lauren, Megan, we'll send it back to you.
See the truck? The truck, if you look on Google Maps, you see that same truck. We just passed that truck on Google Maps there. There's the truck. So, and it happened at the end of the cul-de-sac, and here's the truck. So, back there. But the news is not being accurate there because according to 2 reports that I've read prior, the person that was taken into custody has been released. It was the juvenile that made the 911 call. We'll go one more report here. There's another report here. We're trying to get the information of what's being put out there. Do we have killers on the loose? Should Los Angeles and the Lancaster, California area be on the lookout here? Is the public in danger here? Why isn't people speaking up? If you go into someone's house and literally shoot multiple people and set the house on fire afterward, and, you have a problem here.
A scary scene in Lancaster this morning. 3 people killed, another hospitalized after a shooting and arson.
Crews are still on scene investigating, digging for a motive for the crimes. KTLA's Omar Lewis live with what we know so far. Omar, you were telling us that some investigators came out just recently and perhaps are going to talk to us. How are things going right now?
Yeah, so we just spoke to those investigators from the LA County Sheriff's Department who gave us some new details. Previously, we were telling you that the LA County Fire Department told us that there was a suspect in custody. Now, the Sheriff's Department says they are not sure of that. They are trying to figure out exactly if that suspect was killed in all of this, but want to step out of the way and show you what is going on here. That investigation is unfolding behind us. We know this started with reports of gunfire, followed by a house fire. 3 people were killed. Another is now in the hospital. Right now, again, the Sheriff's Department is trying to determine if that suspect is among the dead or if they're on the run. We could take you to video and tell you that just after 1:30 this morning, deputies from the LA County Sheriff's Lancaster station received a 911 call reporting gunshots inside a home. When officers arrived, they found the home in flames. Acting quickly, deputies made a crisis entry, pulling 3 people from the burning home. Moments later, LA County fire crews arrived, extinguishing the fire and rescued 2 additional individuals. We know 4 of the 5 people pulled from this home sustained gunshot wounds. 3 people identified as young adults in their 20s were pronounced dead at the scene. 1 person remains hospitalized in critical condition. A 5th person who survived and was uninjured was extracted from the home by deputies. We're told she called 911 after hearing those gunshots and remained hidden in her room, terrified for her life. Authorities say the surviving family members, including some teenagers who live in the home but were not here at the time the violence started, they're now being interviewed at the Lancaster Sheriff's Station. Investigators trying to piece together all the details on this suspect. Take a listen.
Right now, we don't know what caused this and what occurred. So we have some people to interview to try and determine if our suspect is among one of the deceased or is at large. I will say that I don't think there's a concern for the safety of the public at this time. Whatever happened in here seemed personal.
So back out here live, again, this story is evolving and changing throughout the morning as we learn more details. But again, those victims who were killed all in their 20s, again, 3 people dead in this shooting and house fire that happened. 1 person now recovering in the hospital. We will continue to keep you updated as this story evolves. But that's the latest for now here live in Lancaster. We'll send it back to you in the studio.
So what do you think? Think they're playing coy? Let's get Magnolia in the chat to have a conversation about this. Do they think a suspect is, one of the deceased? This is personal, but the fact that they just don't know is weird. Or is that how investigators have to, do this and cross all their T's and dot all their I's? Hello.
Hello. Hi, everybody.
What's going on here, Magnolia? Are we talking about a Mike Tyson, Jake Paul type party, and afterward something bad happened here?
Yeah, I don't know. It's possible, but it's just interesting that there are similarities to the Moscow case. That's what kind of stood out to me at
Why?
first. Was well, just the fact that there was a survivor who was hiding in her room, except this survivor actually called 911, where in Moscow, Dylan didn't. But it sounds like it was a minor, it was a girl, a young girl who heard the gunshot, so she hid and called 911. I don't know if the fire had already started when she called 911 or if it was in the process. I don't know if she even knew about the fire yet, but it sounds like she called 911 pretty quickly when this happened, but they couldn't be saved. So, yeah, I can't imagine what could have happened here, and the fact that the person even burned the place down, tried to burn the place down.
So the person that they were saying that was in custody, now that's not in custody, was a female juvenile.
Yeah, that's what the report said that you just played.
Interesting. No, that's interesting. But as you know, but that last news report was like, well, they're not sure.
Well,
I haven't heard of any arrests. So whether
so
who's the
that
suspect
person,
here?
No, well, what we know is the person who called who made the 911 call, the girl, they took her to the sheriff's station. So that's why they first were saying they had someone in custody. But, she turned out to be a victim. So they don't have a suspect in custody. But I'm just wondering, how can they not know who did it when there's two survivors? Because
That's what I'm saying.
there's also an adult survivor at the hospital. So unless maybe the survivor in the hospital, maybe they're unconscious and haven't been able to speak to police yet, the girl who hid maybe didn't even see the person. So I don't know. I just think it's interesting. You have two survivors and there's not a suspect in custody yet. That's why it really just reminded me of Moscow, how that case kind of popped off, and we were like, what? There's a survivor in the house and they don't know who did it? What? That was such a weird detail with that case. So hopefully these survivors will be able to give more information, but it's pretty crazy.
Yeah, Lancaster, California. We don't. Other than that, they're not putting out any information. That wasn't a press conference there. That was just a detective just speaking, out on the whim to the media out there. I'm waiting for a press conference. But the way the detective was like, well, he wouldn't consider the public in danger here. It's personal. So do they think it was somebody? Do they think it was somebody that knew them or whatever? This person that knew them won't go out there and do this to somebody else. I mean, when they say that, it implies that it's probably somebody that was in the house that knew them and wouldn't have the tendency to go out there again. But if they got a suspect on the loose, anyone that goes and kills 4 people and burns a house down is considered extreme dangerous to me, if somebody's out there.
Yeah, well, it's just, it is interesting that last night happened to be the Tyson fight, and it sounds like they were having a party, probably to watch the fight, and now all of a sudden there's 3 people dead. So I know a lot of people were upset about the fight afterwards. A lot of people were really angry and saying it was rigged, and there was a lot of betting that was done on this fight.
We almost bet it.
Could it have been like an argument over betting, or the fact they think it was rigged and so maybe they don't think they should have to pay the bet? I don't know. It's just interesting, the timing.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. We almost betted on that fight. I almost betted on Tyson.
Yeah.
I almost betted on Tyson, but as soon as I saw the first round, I'm like, this is something weird about this fight. It just seemed weird at that point. And I didn't even take any of the rounds seriously at that point. I'm just like, it was just, I just watched as entertainment. I'm not mad.
Yeah, a lot of people were really, really upset. I mean, I saw a video earlier of a guy destroying his TV. I mean, they were acting like their team lost in the Super Bowl. People had a lot of really insane reactions last night. So you do have to wonder, and they did say it was a party. So,
I mean, who's going to party on a Friday night when half the nation is watching a Tyson fight and Jake Paul fight? I mean, you think the party's they're just having a party and they're not watching Tyson and Jake Paul? I think that'd be kind of ridiculous. I mean, that's what people probably were getting together. A lot of people around the country were getting together last night to watch a fight, a party.
Yeah.
I mean, even like us, like our true crime work and everything like that. I mean, we break news and everything like that, but we were like, we might as well just watch the fight because, everyone's just tuned into, it was like almost like the Super Bowl.
Yeah, everyone was watching it all over the country. So, LA Times has an article out. It's from earlier today, but they actually say in their article that the people that were shot were 3 men and 1 woman in their 20s. So we don't know which of those survived, but it sounds like the 4 victims was 3 men and 1 woman.
All right. Well, that's good. So other than that, any other information we can share with the audience here on this particular crime?
Well, they also mentioned that there are other people who live at that house, teenagers who also live there, but were not home when this happened. So that's going to be pretty traumatic for them, I'm sure. So, I mean, I think it's unlikely that it's some random serial killer type like Brian Kohberger. It probably is someone who knew them and some type of personal thing, but I guess we'll just have to wait for a press conference and see what they say.
Yes. So we're on it on JLR Investigates. If you're new to the channel from Lancaster County, sub to the channel here. We'll keep the viewers informed. We'll pop out names. Is it, gang? Is it migrant related? We'll see. We'll see. For sure.
Yeah.
Anything else to add, Magnolia?
Nope.
Great work. Thank you very much.
All right.
All right, folks, so we got our eyes on this particular case. Let us know what you think in the comments. JLR Investigates. Oh, what a night. Took me all day to get situated. My clock was all messed up. I didn't go to bed at like 4 a.m. Didn't get much sleep. And, but we're on it. We're back on it. Back in the game. We'll talk soon. Thanks for watching this particular segment. JLR Investigates, praying for the victims' families, law enforcement, first responders, everyone out there, even the neighbor I spoke to and the neighbors around there. Nobody should ever be subjected to this. Evil does exist, and it's a crazy world that, just killing somebody, but then even setting a house on fire, because that house, you saw that other house that was next door, it could have spread all over the place. There could have been much more victims. It could have been much more worse on top of a worse situation. We'll talk soon. Praying for everyone. Have a good day.